Hello, everyone. It's Art Russell here at Think Twice on YouTube and thinktwice.me at wordpress.com. By the title of this video, you might have assumed that I'm going to share some information about a treasure, and you would be right. But before we get into that, I'd like to share a quote from a famous French philosopher, scientist, and mathematician, René Descartes. Many of you will be familiar with this famous quotation. He stated, "I think, therefore I am." Now, to anyone who hears this or reads that quotation, he or she might believe, so this is saying, because I think, I am. Basically saying, because I have the capacity to think, that I exist. And there's usually confusion around that too. The confusion is the common misbelief that the brain gives rise to thinking. So logically, people think, and if they think that they are the result of their thinking, they think that when they began to think was their start, and when they stop having the ability to think, that will be their end. So they package that belief into this body mind, believing that it gives rise to thinking and a sense of I. And people, when we connect that to the treasure, that sense of I, which most of us are quite familiar with, we hear that kind of that little voice in the head that likes to share the favorable news, but it doesn't like to share the stuff that maybe we're a little ashamed of. So when it comes to tying treasures into that egoic sense of I, the treasures of man are usually related to objects, persons, things, success, financial achievement. The sense of I, that sense of I, the egoic sense of I believes maybe 10 houses will make me a success, or 20, or mansions, or the trophy spouse. And if that trophy spouse doesn't work out, a lot of egos believe, well, I'll get a new one. And they want to have a better one. Now, I don't subscribe to that belief at all, but this is predominant with this kind of thinking and identity, the identity of the false self. So let's go a little deeper, and yes, I have another illustration because I know it's just something that I currently do. So here's the box. Let's go to the treasure box. And we open it. And for the purposes of this video, I wrote out a little message. And here we go. So this is what I'm saying the real treasure is, and each of us, each apparent one of us, has it. And here it is. It's I am, our awareness of being. And what I'm saying is that is our eternal treasure. It does not begin at the birth of the body-mind, nor end at the passing of the body-mind. It is our true nature. That's the treasure that cannot be taken away from us. That's the real treasure. Knowing what, not really a who, we are. This also leads me to a quote by the famous, great Persian poet by the name of Rumi. He had a longer formal name, but he's known, usually by just Rumi. One of his famous quotes that I love goes as follows. He stated, "I searched for God and found only myself. I searched for myself and found only God." So what he's saying is the nature of God and our true nature are as one. That's the treasure. God, consciousness, awareness. I am that I am, that's stated in the Bible. That's the true treasure. Now, all of us are it, but the key is whether we know it, we recognize it. When we do, we've risen in consciousness to the awareness of knowing we're that, rather than believing we are the sum total of the body-mind. And we know how that can be if we believe we're the body-mind. Some days we're just, rocking it. We think we're great. And the next day there might have been some occurrence in life and we go, wow, I look like a fool. So that teeter-totter ride of the body-mind, this is why I'm sharing this information to help us avoid that ride, uncomfortable ride associated with identifying with being the person. The person, the body, and the mind is a creation of consciousness. Consciousness, the highest. Awareness, our awareness of being. That's something that cannot be taken from us. So I'm also going to point out, during my spiritual journey, one of the teachers that I came across, his name is Roger Castillo. Now, I have no affiliation with him, but I'm just going to share this so that will relate a little more deeply. I remember finding his website, and he had a sign, he still does, on it, and it's Roger Castillo, being lived. Well, that intrinsically felt wrong to me at the time. Why? Because my ego was shouting, being live, get a load here, pal. I live myself. Well, that's what the majority of persons do. And what that actually means is that the majority of the world's population is prodigal, meaning turned away from the Father consciousness, our I amness, and believing that it arises in the body and the mind. When we turn our attention inward, usually through meditation, periods of stillness, walks in nature will do it too if it's nice and quiet, and be still, we familiarize ourselves or become lost where the two become, there aren't two, it's one that is aware of thoughts, sensations, images, perceptions, and also the body. We see it. That awareness is the treasure, and it's within each and every one of us. Anyway, I hope you feel that this video has been of service to you today in some way. If you've enjoyed it, I invite you to subscribe to my channel or click a like or do both. You can find out more free information at my blog at thinktwice.me. And I also offer more information through my book entitled This Taste of Flesh and Bones, which is available through Amazon. Bye for now. We'll talk again soon.